I discovered the real secret. It felt like eternal youth. And that is what caught me. My name is Douglas Schneider, and I've been painting, I think, about 15 years. Probably my main inspiration is probably music. I love thinking about music as a perfect metaphor for painting because I will start with the bass, which is going to be the big dark brushstrokes. And then I will start laying in grids, which are going to help me to draw in things later. That grid is the drummer, or whatever line work I do is the drummer. And then I will start to lay in these washes of color, and then I'll push them in different ways, and it would be like taking the guitar and throwing it against the amp to create a reverb. Eventually, after all of that is done, I'll start to draw in and paint in the images, which start to create the story, which would then be the lyrics and the singer. But I also write constantly in this book here, and there's something like this. I wrote, train wreck. I like a train wreck and a dance, dancing at the train wreck. That's something I will actually use to start a painting. Sometimes my dealer says, oh, that's too dark, too deep, you can't paint that. These are the kind of things that a lot of people don't want me to paint, but I have to do it. Especially if they tell me not to do it, I feel even more compelled to do it. When I paint, it doesn't matter what's going on in my life that day. If I can actually get involved in the painting to the point where I used to consider it somewhat like being in a vacuum. When I started painting and getting into this real sense of having a connection to the creative force to the point where I was completely involved in it without ego, and so many hours would go by and I could hardly breathe. I used to call it touching the face of God. It felt like eternal youth to paint. That was the creative force to me, is to actually be involved in it. Even thinking about it right now actually kind of takes the air out of my lungs. I was trying to become a commercial illustrator, and I did it for a while actually, and it was terrible. So I gave that up and all the money that went with it. I became homeless and decided to be a painter And the reason I did that is because I was looking at Cezanne and Degas while I was at the Norton Simon Museum. One day I got caught up at a Cezanne painting, one Cezanne painting. It was like that vacuum again where I was sucked into that painting for 3.5 hours. Literally, I had no idea. I was standing in front of these brushstrokes, and it literally made me, it could do it right now. I could cry right now thinking about that painting, that day, being caught up in that painting. And that is what caught me, and I decided I can never do anything but this. But I never lost that feeling, and I still get it myself, you know? I can still get it with my own painting. That's why I paint. That thing that happened that day. I discovered the real secret. If you do exactly what you want to do and do it with, you know, to your best, do it as best as you can, then everybody will see that. And if you try to cheat that, try not to put that in the piece, people see that too. You can't fool anybody. They can tell the real magic. So when I'm painting and I can feel it right here and it lifts me off the ground a little bit and there's a little giggle that comes out, it goes like this, then I know I just did something really incredibly beautiful that I love. That is important to me. That is the reason I'm painting. I think if you really want to be an artist, really, whatever medium it is, film or painting or sculpture or whatever, you have to be willing to give up everything for it. The minute I actually freed myself from everything but it, people started flocking and started helping me out, started giving me money, started making it a reality for me. But if you can make that leap of faith simply because there's nothing else you can do, you can't help it, then you should do it and do it with everything you've got.